We are starting.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Emma Pugmire, this is our new Black Ivory podcast setup.
Yep.
So, have you got anything interesting? Because I haven't.
Well, I was going to say I went on Saturday to be filmed out at yeah, where was it? Maida Vale. It was that area, Kensal Rise area, and that was for a manifesto for the manifesto interview thing. And when I got there, I saw.
This was the film about the Stuckist Manifesto.
That's right, the one that
Right.
Charles was interested in. And the guy, I went to his place and it was really lovely. It was in a terraced house along the street, and it had a beautiful spiral sort of staircase going up. It was a lovely place. It was all set up. It was a high chair to sit on, and then you had the lights on me and everything. And
Was
when I
this his
got there,
own? Was this his own house?
it looked like it was his own place. There was a sort of bedroom
Nice.
upstairs, but it looked like a show home. It looked like a show home from, one of these design Clerkenwell Design Festivals that I go to quite often. It was really, it made I mean, I looked at my place and all the clutter in my place and in comparison. But anyway, and as I thought, I did write quite a lot on the point 10, but unfortunately, I knew everybody was going to like shuffle around at the last minute and decide to do different things. So I didn't write that much about it. But when I got there, I actually met Jacqueline from Wales, and I hadn't
Jacqueline
seen her for ages.
Jones.
That's right, yes. And she was talking about the primal pigment of paint, and but I mean, he was asking her, is there anything else you'd like to say? Any other points in the manifesto you'd like to discuss? What does the manifesto mean to you? So, I mean, he was giving us a bit of a free rein to talk about anything in the manifesto, but I selected the points beforehand, so we could all sort of
Was
just.
he interviewing you one at a time?
Yes, one at a time.
So Jacqueline went before you.
Yeah, because she had a train to catch, you see.
I
So
see.
I and
So
see.
who else was there? You, Jacqueline Jones,
Yes, and the guy filming Polher, his name is, I think, Peter Polher,
Peter.
his name.
Yeah.
Yes, and yeah, so there was only the three of us really. I
So who
mean, I
was the
didn't see
third?
Charles.
Oh, so it's you, Peter, and Jacqueline.
Yeah, just this, and then I just went. I don't know anyone else turned up after
Right.
me. I booked the slot for 2 o'clock, and I got there at about 2 o'clock and did it. So yeah, yeah, it's quite hard to find, and of course there was a big match, so the trains got some. I went on the tube, and then we got to get replacement buses and go around the place, and really, but yeah, it was Kensal Green, Kensal Rise area. So yeah, but yeah, we discussed. So I think what he's going to do is he's going to edit all the film, and we will be making quotes in our own personal what it means to you as an artist type of thing. And I don't think it will be anyone discussing any particular points on the manifesto. It's yeah, he'll be editing it all. And she bought some paintings, and I bought a couple of paintings as well. So that's what I did.
Did it go?
Yeah. So
Because I remember you were a bit concerned. Did it go better than you expected?
uh, well, I think it did go a bit better than I expected, really. Yes, I mean, one of the things I said was the thing about, I mean, I'm talking about the art in the gallery that has to be in a gallery to be art, and I'm talking about the magical or the sort of spiritual qualities of the artwork. That it's always been associated with votive objects and religion and magic, and art has always been associated with that. But the conceptual artist needs the gallery to give it that sort of sense of magic and it sort of feeling to it, and the well the
Do conceptual artists exhibit their work outside of a gallery?
oh, they do have land art. I mean, land art
So that
I
would
mean,
be an example of conceptual art not needing to be in a gallery to
well,
be art.
land art isn't really conceptual art, because when you think about it, land art is like Stonehenge's land art in a way, isn't it? The stone circle is doing similar things like Spiral Jetty. I think there was a big sort of land art piece in America, and there was Richard Long, who did land art. He did walking, photographing, and he did arrangements of stones, just like Stonehenge. The only thing is that he took those stones and put them in the circle in the gallery, which is completely misses the point, because it should really be out in the country to be land art. But land art is slightly different from conceptual art. It's taking features of the land and adding to
So
it.
is
And
there any conceptual art that is shown outside of a gallery?
what this manifesto says is art that has to be in a gallery to be art isn't art. So that's the point. I suppose it wouldn't be seen as an artwork unless it was in the gallery. That's the whole point, isn't it? So they need the gallery to give it that, to make it art. They need to give it that sense of this is an exhibit and this is art in the
But
gallery.
but people would, let's say you have a piece of conceptual art, people might buy that and they might exhibit it in their home. And
Yeah.
wouldn't that still be seen as an artwork if it's in their home?
Um,
For
yeah,
example,
but
would you say Tracy Emin's Unmade Bed is a work of conceptual art?
well, when I went to Peter Poe's place, the bed was very made, it very beautifully made, and it was a very nice place to visit. Well, no, because if it was in a bedroom, I think in the home, everyone would just look and say. I mean, I wouldn't, wake up in the morning and then say my bed isn't. Oh, I'm not making my bed because that's now conceptual artwork. I mean, I don't think many. It had to. That one particularly had to be in a gallery to be art,
So
didn't it?
when
Really.
so when Saatchi bought that bed and exhibited
Yeah.
it at his home, did it cease to be an artwork?
Well, the point is that what Saatchi did, he exhibited at his home, but the point is that when Saatchi exhibits at his home, and he's presumably got quite a large home to exhibit that work of art that size in, he invites people to come and see his art collection. So in that respect, yes, if you make if you yes, perhaps you could say that if it was in a home, but then you are telling everybody that this is your art collection and you're the curator, you're the art collector, and it's not someone coming round to dinner and saying, "Oh, this place looks like a bit of a mess, did a bit of wildlife last night," is it? So that's the point I'm trying to say. He is then saying that my house is now containing my art collection, and you, the visitor, have come to admire my art collection. So yes, my house, yes, as a private art collector can show off their art collection, but then you're still saying this is an art space. You are the curator, collector, telling people this is now in the art space and this is an art. You have to tell them that is an artwork, don't you? So that is still, you're created for that sense purpose of that point in time in art gallery space there, aren't you?
Well, I
Like
think Charles, who co-wrote the manifesto with Billy, was the first
yeah,
person who pointed out to me that John P really is conceptual art.
yeah,
Now, my John P are not in a gallery,
yeah.
so it can't be the case that all conceptual art falls under this idea that it has to be in a gallery to be art. And
Well,
I
yeah.
don't know of any artwork specifically that anyone would claim aren't artworks when they're not in a gallery. Even if
Well,
they
the
do
thing
seem
is,
ridiculous to us that they're artworks at all, it's not whether or not they're in a gallery that determines that by anyone's definition, as far as I'm
yeah,
aware.
yeah. But can I just say the thing is that it's given to at the end of the day, it's still a paint on paper, isn't it? And people are looking at that and they're saying, "Oh, that's like an abstract picture." I mean, what I said,
I
and
mean, I don't think John P is conceptual art. I think this behind me, that's my conceptual art, my advertism.
yes, writing down ideas and yeah, conceptual art magazines, manifestos is perhaps yes, you can. I mean, but you've made your back room over there gallery space and art space now anyway, so you put it there.
Well, I
I
don't
mean,
call it
if
a
you
gallery. I mean, it's
I'm going to sound a bit pedantic here. I'm going to, well, you don't, I'm going to sound a bit pedantic, but
yeah.
maybe if I came in the front door and I saw those pictures up on the notice board or up next
Mm.
to, I think, oh, that's your calendar for the week. That's you. So it's not, I wouldn't necessarily say, no, it was an artwork. Because you have made that gallery space and you've put it in in that gallery space. So now you can say, yes, this is a sort of writing, this is a sort of manifesto, this is a conceptual art. But my point I made was that when you're relying on the gallery space to make it a work of art, but a person can go into anyone's home, and when he sees that picture in the frame, they can be transported to another world by looking at that in that little space in the frame. You can in the painting, and he said that's a beautiful point, and he sort of filmed it. And he
But
said, "Yes, I'd
is that
say that again."
anything
Yeah.
that's is that anything that's unique to painting, or anything that, I mean, you could be transported to another world looking at any form of art. It wouldn't necessarily have to be a painting.
Well, I must admit, I mean, I've got a little picture of fractal studies, which are done on the computer, and they're mathematical, and it looks like a little landscape, and it's very beautiful, and it's sort of like, yes, you could say that isn't a painting, but
Do you remember
that's
when
the
Charles did that
mathematical.
interview, that brilliant
Um,
interview when he says
it's
he's
still kind of
sorry, I interrupted.
go on.
I know when you were talking, it reminded me of when Charles did that interview when he says, "Is my shoe art?" And this bloke who was like arguing in favour of conceptual art brought, I think, like a washing up liquid bottle. Do you remember that? It was a washing
Yeah,
up liquid
yeah,
bottle
I
in a
do
glass
remember that.
case. Now that's, in his eyes, Brad Loker, I think his name was. In his
Yeah.
eyes, that's an artwork,
Well, that
irrespective of whether it's in a gallery or not. So is
was
that
that was that the one on Newsnight he did
Paxman?
he was
Paxman,
Paxman a
yeah,
long time ago, because
yeah.
the thing is that one I'm going to just say is one of the things he said looking at that washing up liquid bottles. He says, I mean, Charles was saying, well, how can that be a work of art? It's a washing up liquid bottle, and then the guy said, oh yes, but it's quite a sensual form. It's not the rest of it, and it was just what I was thinking of, because I was talking about Joseph Cous's chair, where you had I was saying the contrast and the difference between the actual chair in the gallery, a dictionary description of a chair, and then a photograph of the chair, as opposed to Van Gogh's painting with of the chair with the pipe on it. I lay my crown of thorns on my last chair, the 9-inch nails. So I mean, it is so emotive and beautiful and wonderful, that painting, as opposed to these things. But then it also reminds you of the Peter, when you say essential of the washing up liquid bottle, remind me of the Peter Cook sketch a bit about, oh yes, in order for you to come about, your mother had to sit on the chair. It didn't, I was thinking of that a bit as well. Anyway, go on. So yeah. So as he said, my shoe. Go on. What was he going to say anyway? Sorry.
Well,
Go on.
no, it was just that to him, that washing up liquid was a very
Yeah.
powerful work of art. Now, I don't understand that reaction, but
Yeah.
it nevertheless, unless he's lying, is his reaction, and it's not dependent on it being in a
Yeah. The
gallery.
other
Whereas, if you saw a
no.
washing
The
up
other
bottle
thing.
in a glass case, you wouldn't assume it's an artwork, other than if it was in a gallery. But that's the perception of the viewer, not the
Yeah. But
artwork.
yeah, the thing is that there's okay. I'm going to just argue that the fact that he put it in a glass case, when you go and view works of art in a museum or gallery, they tend to be in glass cases, don't they? I mean, it's like Jeff Koons um baseball things and in a glass case. So the glass case is signifying it's a gallery space or it's a museum space, isn't it? So that's
You
what I
could say
mean.
the
So the
same
glass.
about a picture frame.
Yeah, but the point I'm trying to say is that it's still relying on that it has to be in the art space, either in the glass frame, or I'm the wealthy art collector inviting you around to my home, my big home, to see my art collection, including Tracy Emin's unmade bed. If you wandered into someone's home and saw an unmade bed,
So
it
his
would.
house became a gallery at the point.
Yes,
So
well,
so
he's
is
defining he and you putting those stuff up in your back room, where you've made it a gallery space, as opposed to next to the front door, where I might have looked at it and thought, oh, they're just notes about your shopping list for the week or some arrangement you got for the week, for all I know. So that you're saying that is an art because I put it. So it has to be in the gallery or the art defined space, doesn't it? In all three counts. So that's all I'm saying. So yeah,
okay.
it has to have a little sort of signifier to say this is an art space. That's where it is. I mean,
But
you know,
who says it has to have that? Is it the Stuckist who walks into a room and sees a washing up liquid bottle and assumes, well, it's not an artwork, it's not in a gallery. But I mean, the artists themselves, the conceptual artists, will say, well, who are you to declare when something is or isn't seen as an artwork? You know, it's the Stuckist
uh,
saying that they only recognise it as an artwork when they go into a gallery. But the
yeah, who are you?
artist would have to consider it to be a gallery. Would consider it to be an
Well,
artwork when it's in their studio, or when it's at their house waiting to be taken to the gallery, or when it's
right,
left outside the front door. It never ceases to be an artwork.
yeah. The other thing is, I was going to say, okay, so this artist has decided this washing up liquid bottle is an artwork, and in a way it is. But who designed the washing up liquid bottle? Did he design it? No, it's a mass-produced item, and I'm sure a lot of work went into its design to make it sort of buyable, attractive, for when you go in the supermarket and you admire the design and the effort. I'm all for completely recognising the design
But if
skills
the
of,
answer to
of
that
mass-produced
question, okay,
items,
so
but
if
it doesn't make it his work of art,
well, that's it.
does
Well,
it?
who you attribute it to is a separate question. If it's a work of art made by a factory worker in China or made by the artist whose name's on the blurb next to it, does that
Yeah.
define whether it's an artwork or not? Because it doesn't change the work itself.
Well, you need the artist blurb. You need it to be in the magazine. You need something to tell.
Well, I mean, it's like a song. A song is a song, irrespective of who wrote it, or even if a computer AI wrote it, it doesn't mean it's not a song. So why would it be different for art?
Well, that's a big question, isn't it? I mean, this AI question is a very big question.
I mean,
It
no
is a
people say whether they like it or dislike it, or whether they have concerns about it, but no one's questioning that it's an actual song. And even with
yeah,
AI
yeah.
art, I mean, with that AI made art, no one's questioning whether it's art or not. So why would you
No,
do that to a conceptual artist? Why is it
well,
about brownie points?
yeah. Well, what about the guy who taped a banana to the wall and called it the comedian or something and got a lot of money for it? I mean, I'm looking at a piece of masking tape now. Could I just show? But
Yeah,
here's a piece of
sure.
masking tape, and I could
Yeah.
even show. I mean, would we get sued if I then put this banana in the fruit bowl and I take
Well,
it to the
I'll
fridge?
assume that you've got a banana there. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I could do that work of art right now. I mean, would we get sued for it? I mean, I'm not going to do it on video.
No, but
I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, it's
I can understand why what makes it an artwork is so alien to what the Stuckists would consider an artwork to be. It's a completely different thing. It's like calling a computer mouse and an aeroplane the same word when they're totally different things.
yeah,
But then
yeah.
how wide do you allow the idea of art to be?
Uh,
You know,
well,
it's one of those things. Who cares? You know.
well, the other thing I would say is a question of authorship because what I did say with the manifesto was I was talking about pop art, and I said that the one thing Roy Lichtenstein when he did the Ben dot pictures, he took that from a mass-produced comic book, true romance comic, and he didn't name the original comic book illustrator. I think his name was Tony Adorno. Likewise, I talked about because I'm a sci-fi art fan of Chris Foss and the Glenn Brown. Again, it was described as a science fiction illustration. So he's reworked Auerbach, he's reworked Rembrandt after Rembrandt after Auerbach after wait for a science fiction illustration. I knew it was Chris Foss's Meteor City. I got it. I know the print very well. I love that painting. It's one of my favourite paintings. But the point I'm trying to say is that he was not named, So and then Glenn Brown gets the credit for doing a sort of pop cultural or low cultural reference because we're now pop artists. My argument was that when the pop artists like Hockney or Hamilton or Warhol, even with Warhol's prints, takes it and repaints it, you make it, even if it has come from a magazine publication, you've made a mass reproduced for a different purpose, you've now made it your own. Okay, now that's a bit like naming and claiming it. Now, pop art is one stage of it, but I won't go to the final stage, which is conceptual art, which just says I don't have to paint it, I don't have to rework it, I don't have to make it, I don't have to do anything. I just take it and plonk it in the gallery, and then I say that's art, so that's my, and then I call it my artwork, and then I get a load of money for it and I sell it. So that's the thing. I mean, I the pop art, makes it their own by painting it and reworking it. I've done that with magazine illustrations, and I've transmuted it. The word is transmutation as the magical process. By painting it, I've transmuted it to something else. I've also talked about the autobiographical meanings associated with Warhol, the Campbell soup can. His mum gave him soup when he was ill. With David Hockney, it was his gay love in the swimming pool, and and all the rest of it. That's the personal stories involved. But painting is the transmutation. Painting is the process that transforms it into your work of art.
Well, does it have to be painting?
Well, I'm just saying, so that's reclaiming authorship. That, to some extent, pop art is bad because it doesn't always.
But why
pay,
is
I think,
yeah?
the
But I
proper
mean, it depends what
respects
kind
to
of
the original
value you're
author.
talking about. I mean, if we're talking about artistic value, then why does
Yeah.
it have to come down to elbow grease? Why is pop art bad for not putting effort in? Who cares about effort?
Well, I'll say something else because this is the big contradiction. Because actually, I think most conceptual artists probably work a lot harder than I do. I'm going to admit it, and a lot of painters. Because frankly, if you're doing a conceptual art, I mean, you have to contact the gallery. You have to go to all the effort of explaining it all. Art that has to be in a gallery to, what it's about. You have to probably even have to consult lawyers if it's a big sort of work of art. You have to go through quite a lot of faff. Well, I could just do a painting. So they probably put a lot of work into what they do, but I just, I don't think the results are
Okay, well
much.
let's assume for
Yeah,
argument's sake that we had a conceptual artist who did put a lot of work into their work of
yeah.
would that encourage you to value it artistically more?
Well, not really, because at the
So
end of the
what? So
day,
it's not an art. So whether or not there was a load of faff doesn't have any bearing on whether or not it's an artwork or not.
well, I just say, well, what for? I mean, what for, really? I
And then
mean,
they would come up with some answer like in the Stuckist Manifesto about painting when they romanticize worlds and inner worlds and share was it giving
yeah,
shared form to individual experience, giving individual form to shared experience. I
yeah.
mean all that stuff in the Stuckist Manifesto you could say about any kind of art, including conceptual art, and say that's
Well,
its value.
yeah, the thing is also, I was going to say that art that has to be in the gallery to be art isn't art. Now, the other thing is with conceptual art is that you see something in the gallery and frankly, you have no idea what it's about. And the only way to find out is to read the labels. So I would even take it one further because either it's referencing another artwork. I mean, like,
I
oh,
like a load of paintings and I have no idea what they're about.
yes, but you can still look at a painting and say if it's a figurative painting or even just colour and abstract, you can still, that's a beautiful painting. You can still
But you could
appreciate
say
it
that you could
head
say,
on.
well, somebody might find a
Now,
work of conceptual art beautiful.
yeah, yeah, but well, I mean, the point is you look at a painting and you don't have any. This is a reference to another artist's work, and you can either have time to read that or you don't, or you can just not looking at it. I mean, you can follow up if you like, but if you see, but if I would even add to it art that has to have 3 paragraphs to explain it isn't art. I would even add that one to the Stuckist Manifesto if I was going to add a point. Art that has to be in the gallery to be art isn't art, and art that has to have 3 paragraphs to explain it. Because what is the effort going into,
Does an
really?
artwork have to be understood in a certain way to be an artwork? I mean, can't you put your artwork into a gallery
Well,
with
a
no
conceptual artist
intention?
has to.
Why? Why can't a conceptual artist's concept be that I'm just going to stick this in the gallery and people make of it what they like, and it might not necessarily be what my intentions or what my thoughts are?
So, why don't they just put a label next to it? This work needs no explanation.
Well, why not just have no label next to
I
it?
mean, yeah, yeah. I mean, well, the point I'm trying to
I
say
mean,
is,
there's
is that yeah,
paintings
but
with great big blurbs next to them. I mean, that you could argue
well,
that they're unnecessary
well,
for all
yes,
kinds
of
of art.
course there is. But the point I'm this is the point I'm trying to say. Of course, there's paintings with loads of blurb next to them. Of course there is. But the point I'm trying to say is that you might walk through a gallery and you just see, oh, what a lovely painting, and you remember that, whether you read the blurb or not. With the conceptual artwork, frankly, you don't even know if it is. I mean, the joke is that obviously some items in the gallery have been left behind by workmen or people, other people, or
Yeah,
had
yeah,
people
yeah.
had no idea
The
whether
chair
they
that
were
the
actually the
security
artwork
guard
or
sits
not.
on. Yeah.
Is it non? Is that the artwork? I mean, where is it? You know, you have to have a label to
But
say
it,
this
that
is the
th- is
artwork.
that might be true for you
Yeah,
and me. That might be true for you and me because
yeah,
I think me and you probably share our lack of understanding for conceptual art. But can we
yeah.
accept that there are other people who will walk into a work where there's a piece of conceptual art? They don't need a blurb to explain to them what it is. They will just enjoy it and find artistic value from it, just like me and you
Yeah.
would get from looking at a painting.
Oh yes,
So it's so the
I
so
expect they are, but
so the Stuckist
but
Manifesto is really taking an objective point on something where it is really a subjective issue.
yeah, you could say that, but you see, there I do find that, because this is the other thing I sort of said, it is not just that the conceptual art really does rely on the viewer. If they are referencing other works, I mean, take the Fountain Duchamp. I've seen that reproduced as a gold pendant, right? The point is, everybody has to know what the original work was, the Rhinal Fountain, and then it gets reproduced. And the point is that you know
Somebody
why
might
what
enjoy the gold pendant with not knowing anything about Duchamp's urinal. They
well,
might
they
see it
might do. It's an
independently.
yes, yeah. I mean, I think they might do, but I just think that
It's like I like a lot of songs that are cover songs, and a lot of them I
yeah,
didn't know they were cover songs I was listening to. And to be
yes,
honest,
oh,
I
absolutely,
couldn't care
yeah.
less if they're covers. I don't think any
I
differently of them.
yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean,
people's understanding of the universe in general might be so completely different to ours. And
yes,
that's my thing with Stuckism.
absolutely.
It tries to pin stuff down to almost black and white statements, but they only really
Yeah,
relate to the person, to each person differently. So for one
yeah,
person, I mean, it's an interesting view inside Charles and Billy's heads, but that's all it is. It's nothing that you
yeah.
can say is an objective statement about art in
Well,
general.
I'm just yeah I'm going yes I suppose so, but I think actually I'm sort of was there. It was very good because he was saying, what does it mean to you? And I said what it means to me, and I did, I think, argue point 10, and I did talk about another couple of points, expanding it. And I did find it. I think it was. So I think I'm gonna be edited in that movie, in that film. And what does it mean to you? And I think it's going to be quite a good film, you know, and it's going to be sticking up for Stuckism. And I sort of agree with that, really.
How
Um,
long did
and
you
also,
speak
I
for?
when it Oh, about 10 minutes, and he's going to edit it and cut it. The other thing I said about Stuckism being wrong, because you know, because it's I said it's not, doesn't only like you know, the artist, you know, it's you know, um, transmitting their experiences. And, you know, sometimes these experiences where they've made mistakes, or drawing, when you draw, you start by making mistakes. Drawing can only improve with practice. So you can, and yeah, drawings can be beautiful even if they're not really anatomically correct, you know, or else even, you know, painting your feelings or some experience you've had, which people look at it, oh no, how embarrassing, I've been there, you know, that sort of thing. So that's fine, that you can get it wrong there. Okay, you can get it wrong. The conceptual art, it relies to some extent everyone knowing what artwork they're referencing, if people
Can a
around them
conceptual art
being
be
able to
wrong in the
write
same way?
labels. It
Like a
relies on the
conceptual
critics.
artist, well, only if it's to be understood in a
I
predetermined
mean,
way.
Tracy Emin, to give her credit with the unmade bed, perhaps was transmitting some experience about, you know, and all the rest of it, her life, and yeah, but I just don't think. I mean, when she compared the sort of the folds and the unmade bed to a Turner, an actual Turner of the waves of a Turner painting, and she said, "You say it's just like the Turner painting." No, it isn't, and that's that. I must admit, that's it. That's all I'm saying. You could say that. Perhaps Tracy Emin does sort of transmit a certain amount of feeling and experience in her work, but
Could you say that a valuable part of conceptual art might be where they make mistakes and they get things wrong with their conceptual art, and people might find that appealing and of artistic value?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. As I say, perhaps Tracy Emin, but that, yeah, I don't really, I don't see it that much, really,
Yeah.
and yeah, the other thing is that I was just saying, so they like the wrong type of art, so they do like more craft outside of art. For me, science fiction painting, which is very professional, is very, it's very technically skilled. They've all been to art school, but it gets that label, the death knell illustrative or illustration. It's not considered fine arts. So it's considered quite lowbrow, must reproduce, and they're happy with that. They get their paychecks. It's made for a completely different purpose. They're not. I mean,
Do you
even
think
Jim, I think.
illustrations have an
Yeah.
unfair stigma attached to them?
Well, yeah, they do, because the thing is, I mean, even Jim Burns himself, I mean, he said, this is not some artist bearing his artistic soul when he was talking about his own work. I
I
mean, he
don't
said
do
that.
that, and
No,
I don't bare my soul in my work. I couldn't
but
care less about that. But I still think,
illustration is considered a different category, as not like high, not as in lowbrow, is not like fine art as opposed to fine art. It's more functional. It's there for mass reproduction. It's to do
I
with
mean, who wants to
yeah, I
be?
think
I
they
mean,
do.
that's another point. Highbrow, lowbrow. Who's to say there's any
Yeah,
artistic value in that? I mean, is something
yeah,
highbrow
exactly.
more? I mean, I think my stuff's pretty lowbrow.
Yeah,
Doesn't
yeah.
mean it's bad. A
I
lot of the
mean,
art, my favourite art, is probably what people say is lowbrow. I mean,
yeah,
highbrow, what gets considered highbrow, I would say is the kind of stuff I find completely dull and void of
yeah.
any meaning for me
I mean,
personally.
I mean, I mean, pop art did get the credit. What did get the credence for blurring the boundaries? That's the whole thing about it. It took the mass reproduced image, repainted and put it in the gallery, so it blurred the boundaries between high and low art. That is what pop art gets the credit. It's about that gets the credit for. You see, I mean, to me, it's about responding to art in mass reproduced art advertising. Perhaps making it your own, perhaps individualizing, but by the process of painting and making pictures out of it. So,
I mean, I think
yeah,
both,
responding to the urban
yeah,
industrial environment so much, I mean,
I think
as
you and
yeah.
me have
So
another thing.
anyway, go on.
Sorry, you and me, I think both like pop art. Now, there be people
Yeah,
who would say
yeah,
pop art is an art for all the reasons you've just said. They're just reproducing something and plonking it in a gallery.
yeah,
That sounds very similar to the Stuckist argument against
yeah,
conceptual art, where they belittle it
yeah.
by saying the artist hasn't put enough into it and using that as a reason to say it's not art. So I don't see how you can be thinking one thing about pop art and another thing about conceptual art.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna, you see, because the other thing, right? So he says, so the Stuckists, right? They express feelings, they struggle with drawing, they Stuckism is wrong. They're not afraid to make mistakes and bare their souls. And I said Van Gogh, perhaps, was wrong. He was the person that you might cross the roads, the care of the community case. That if he lived now, you may cross the road to avoid him. That's what I said in the interview. That might be in the video. I don't know the film. I don't know. Now the next thing is Stuckist likes the wrong art, so it tends to be craft art, naive art, outsider art. I like sci-fi illustration. That's the outside the gallery. But what I did do was make this. I talked about the slat, the Stuart Light work, because this is I thought was interesting. I showed that as the example because what Stuart Light did, he's got the autobiographical story, he had kidney failure. Somebody donated the kidney. That operation didn't take, but it gave him an extra lease of life, and it ultimately got better and it saved his life. So he took the sort of superhero, the massively produced comic book character, and he called him Kidney Donor Man, but he made him gave him his own personal take and story on it, you see. And so he took the folk hero, the Superman comic, the mass reproduced figure, and he made it completely his own autobiographical by doing it, and quite crudely painted. He didn't do a slick sci-fi comic book Ben-Day dot type illustration with it. So I actually used Stuart Light in that interview as an example. So that's another thing I said. I mean, whether it's all going to be in the film or not, I don't know. But so I showed him that as well. Yeah.
I recorded a
Like,
podcast interview the other day.
oh yes, who was that for?
Windowsill Chats. This lady called Margot, who's based in Seattle, and she came to my Camden Market Free Art Man demonstration with her son, and we had a short chat, and then I had a longer chat with her the other day, and she'll be publishing it in late November.
Oh, great! That's really good. Yeah. Well, I think I've said quite a bit now. So
all right,
are
so
we
can we?
Yeah.
Well, we kind of got stuck on me badgering you about conceptual art. Shall we talk about Camden?
Yeah, what are you doing in Camden?
Well, also Blurt.
Yeah.
Now, Camden is my Camden Market Free Art Man. I go to Camden about once a week at the moment. I'm going to try and get down there more often, and I give away my art for nothing to anyone who's willing to do a 1-minute interview for my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Now, Ron's done that with me. Ron did really well, so I sort of copied what he was doing, and I'm now getting a bit better at it. Blurt is a social media platform like Instagram, but you get paid.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
So I thought that would be of interest.
So are you getting paid for it to do some work
I'm
on
just
it?
trying to sign up at the moment, but Ron's done all right on it. I mean, money for nothing.
Oh yeah.
Would that get you interested in getting more tech?
Yeah, maybe. Yes. I mean, I don't even know how to end this interview. I'm not quite sure how to turn this Zoom thing off, but
Is that why you're still there? Because you don't know how to turn it off?
Probably. Yeah. Yeah, but I don't think everyone will see the film because they'll be on the screen. That's the thing. So I don't know. Yeah.
I hear you're going to see a band in the near future.
Oh yeah, it's on. It's the Tiger Lilies. It's my friend's. She wanted to go to see them, so I haven't actually seen them before, so I don't know what they're like. She also likes to.
Are they well-known band? Are they a well-known band?
Well, you see, when I heard the Tigers, I think John Fox was actually in a band called the Tigers, but I don't think it's the same band at all. So I think there's several bands being called the Tigers. So I don't know if it's the same one.
I'm in several bands, and one thing I do is I Google any name I'm about to use just to check no one else is using it. I'm surprised that this overlapping still goes on. I mean, we've had the internet now for going on 30 years.
I know, I am too, really.
Did they have to call themselves the Tiger Lilies?
Well, they probably never heard it. I don't think any, I think a lot of people I think they don't bother. I don't think they bother to say, oh, someone else has got that name. I mean, put it this way. Do you know the Alabama 3?
I know someone who was in Alabama 3.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, because through a friend of Shelley and I owned Nolia's gallery where Shelley and I live.
Yeah.
and
And
they were
what?
friends with members of Alabama 3.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they're a big sort of music collective. The thing is that when they went to America, there were so many because they were the Alabama Three originally who were jailed, and there was a sort of big civil rights case about it, and they were only convicted. But the thing is, when they went to America, there were so many bands called the Alabama Three, they had to call themselves the A3 instead to differentiate. So I think a lot of bands just, oh, we call ourselves that. They don't really bother to worry about whether someone else is calling themselves the same name. So yeah.
So anyway, so the Tiger Lilies you're going to see, is that your friend?
Yeah. Uh, no, well, my friend likes the band. She's seen them. I hadn't seen them myself, so I don't know what they're going to be like. But I said I'd go along with her. Do you know Thomas Truex?
No.
Turx. Trux. I saw him, and that was the Golden Hind a couple of weeks ago, a few weeks ago, and yeah, my friend Sandra likes him as well. I've seen him a couple of times too. Yeah, so and we're going to see another band called Christy and the Bear. Well, I haven't seen for years actually. I've seen them 2 or 3 times. So yeah, so we're going to be quite busy. So yeah. So any concerts you want to go to, any bands you want to see?
I don't think so. I'm so not a fan of anything at the moment. I think 'cause I'm so immersed in Black Ivory,
Yeah.
I'm not interested. Even if Jimi Hendrix was playing in Muswell Hill, I probably wouldn't go.
Book for Halloween, yeah.
No, I'm not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think at my age, you got to decide. Am I going to be? I don't know. I just don't care about any. And also, since you and I have been doing music, that to me that fills me up 100%. My satisfaction
Yeah.
level doesn't. And
Mm.
I don't need any inspiration from anyone.
Yeah. Yes,
I mean,
good.
my
Yeah.
inspiration is just sort of like you coming around with a couple of paintings for me to photograph. That's my gallery.
Yeah, we've got a
That's
couple
my
more up
gallery
there.
for the month.
Yeah, that's great.
And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
tuning into Ron, seeing what Ron has to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Ron's Saving Stuckism A to Z is now available for anyone to watch in full on YouTube.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's great. Yeah. Hmm.
I've
I
got
mean, I'm hoping.
no. Go on, carry on.
Well, I'm hoping this new one with Charles and the Stuckers will go on their website and we can all see that. We should all be able to see that. And then we've got the Turner Prize coming up, so I'm
What's
hoping we
going
can
on with
get.
the Turner Prize this year?
I don't know. I don't know. I've got to find out.
Is it at
I'll
Tate
probably.
Britain?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'm not sure where it is. Yeah,
I might go
but
down there with my Delane LaBasse.
yeah. I mean, it's another group of artists. I've just got to check out who they are this time of this year round. I mean, there's one I've seen, Nikki St. Phal. She did huge sculpture, colourful sculpture things, and the artist is doing work that's a bit like hers, So I'm going to have to go and have a look at it, see what's going on there with it. Yeah, and then we perhaps decide what we're going to do for it. But
Well, there's a
yeah,
Stomach Turner Prize that Ron's
yeah,
won,
yeah, that's it.
so
Yeah, I'm quite annoyed at that. Yeah.
I'm gonna put advertism in for the Stomach Turner Prize.
Oh, have I got to put something in this year for the Stomach Turner
Yeah,
Prize?
do because
Because I'm very bitter about losing it last year. You
well,
see,
sorry to
I'm
inform
really
you, Emma,
angry about.
you've lost it.
Yeah,
Do you
I've
wanna
lost
do
it.
you wanna
I'm
win
gonna.
it this year? I mean, sorry, next
Yeah,
year.
oh yeah, because of course it goes straight. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, you've won it again 2 years running now,
No,
haven't you?
Ron's won it.
Ron's won it. Oh, okay, 2 years.
Ron's Stuckism A to Z film has won the the
Oh,
Stomach
well,
Turner
maybe
Prize.
it should do. It should do.
I
Yeah.
don't even know. I mean, I've only just decided right now what I'm going to put in. But
I've got to think.
you can win it next year if you want. Do you want to win next year's Stomach Turner Prize?
Yeah, I mean, I forgot about the terms and conditions. That is all completely fixed beforehand. So, yes, and it reflects real prices everywhere. So I forgot about the terms and conditions of that. So definitely, I'm definitely like to win it next
Well,
year.
pleased
That's
to
I'm going to make
announce,
that's
Emma.
ambition.
I'm
I've
pleased
won
to
it next.
announce that you've won the 2026 Stomach Turner Prize.
Thanks. And next year I'm going to fulfil my ambitions. That's given me something to work
Mm.
towards. Thanks for that.
We
Yeah,
just
I'm
have
so
to work
pleased
out
about.
what work you're going to
Yeah,
submit for it now.
yeah. No, I've just got to think about the actual work for it. Okay, that's great. That's sorted
I've
out.
got this
Okay.
written down, Emma Fireworks. Do you know what that's?
Oh,
Why have I written down Emma Fireworks?
because we were talking about seeing the fireworks, and I said I wasn't going to a firework display. I was going to watch them from home because, yeah, I can't really afford to go out and travel and everything. I'll go to the bands instead. That's what we were talking about. Are
Do,
you doing anything for one? Sorry, go on.
yeah, I mean, do you think that by giving our art away on the street, we will succeed in starting a movement that kills galleries?
Um, yeah, well, maybe not in the foreseeable future. I mean, I don't know if I really want to kill galleries. I
No, I'm not
just,
interested, but I think that's going to happen because I
I
think
think,
if you don't need money for a painting, then you don't need a gallery, and nobody wants to
yeah.
buy a painting. They'd rather pay with their time anyway. I think
Well,
this is
just
what's happening now through advertism and free art,
yeah,
freeze art, is
yeah,
this is the Napster of contemporary art
yeah.
going on now.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I think it is the natural of contemporary art. But the only trouble is that you have to remember that sadly, originally performance and conceptual art came from the 60s, this idea that people were going to get away from that portable, valuable art object that you bought and put in your home and it's the material object, as with the modernists beforehand, like Kettle's Yard is the modernist, much more than the modernist, by the 60s with conceptual art. And of course, what all that happened was the actual objects, the became the expensive artworks themselves. So
Yeah,
it didn't really
I
get
don't
away from
think
the art object at all.
no, that won't
Yeah,
happen to us because in that
yeah,
scenario, you still have a system where you've got a product. It's just you have to be a bit creative as to what that product is.
yeah,
With the free
yeah,
art freeze art system, you get it
mm,
for nothing, irrespective of what it
yeah,
is. So you could say, oh, the artwork it is something different. The bottom line is there's no money involved. If there's no money involved,
yeah,
then there's nothing for the gallery to take. There's nothing to pay.
yeah. But
I mean,
looks like,
the best way to kill something is to make
mm,
it redundant, and then it will die
yeah.
anyway.
I think you do challenge the gallery system by what you do, handing out free arts like that. I think you do.
I mean,
I really
no
do.
gallery will take me on, will they? Because how can they sell artwork by somebody who gives it away for nothing?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
part of
Yeah,
free art, freeze art is selling it dirt cheap on eBay and Etsy as well.
yeah, yeah.
And
I mean,
no gallery could make money out of me. It's just
yeah,
impossible.
yeah, that's it. I mean, the other thing is that I think we're actually doing to be honest, I think you see the one I really want to talk about was all arts conceptual except conceptual art. And I think you giving out work becomes a bit of a conceptual art piece in itself. You doing that is your sort of quite portable mobile conceptual artwork, and yeah, all art, if it's painting and all art is conceptual except conceptual art. I really think that really, so in a way that could be your conceptual art. I mean, you're quite happy to admit it to some extent. You're not completely against and antagonistic towards conceptual art
No,
because
I
deep.
value conceptual art. I don't have any
Yeah,
attack. I mean, the thing is,
yeah,
it's an addition.
bit
It's
towards it.
in addition
Yeah,
to what I'm
exactly.
doing.
I've always cut. I mean, when I've done protests outside the tape, I have veered into conceptual art. I see conceptual art as additional, really, to painting. I see it as additional, but
And painting is
this,
additional to conceptual art. We're all these different art forms, but I think
yeah,
Stuckism wanted to compare itself favourably with something, and so they
yeah,
found conceptual art as sort of like this weak kid in the class. But I think that's where it loses credibility for me. It's like saying
yeah,
I'm really good. Compare me to that person who's absolutely bloody useless. Well, don't set the bar too high for yourself, will you?
The thing is, I would say that if you look at the Stuckist Manifesto, it does refer to the great painters like Van Gogh, and it does. I mean, if you were to say you were Stuckist into painting, I do refer to great painters in my work, and I do, and I know I'm not going to be anywhere near as good as they are, but I mean, I do make those
Who
references to
don't you
painting
think
great.
you're as good as?
But well, all this Van Gogh, obviously. I mean, you can't. I mean, you can't. Pretend to be as good as they are. But
Well, I would
there's something
rather
to
go to an
aspire
Emma
to.
Pugmire show than a Van Gogh
Oh, that's
show.
kind of you. Thanks, thanks. Yeah, I mean, it's something it gives you something to aspire to, though, doesn't it? I mean, but yeah, that's the thing. But it's if I mean, conceptual art, I
I
don't.
think Van Gogh's
I mean,
massively overrated. I mean, he's sort of like the go-to artist people talk about.
yeah. I mean, the
I mean,
thing
he's
is, I
good,
mean,
I get it, but he's not Mr. Wonderful. I mean,
the
I'd put
different
Paul
thing.
Klee and Miro streets ahead of what he was
Yes,
doing,
yes, maybe,
and
maybe. I
Picasso
mean,
was streets ahead of what they were doing.
So, yeah, the thing is that this is the other thing, second generation conceptual artists. I mean, if there's a death of painting, why do you need second generation? I don't know. It's just that what are you actually looking at? It's a bit going to art school and looking at conceptual art and then say, well, this is, what what can you do, with it? It's not,
Well, we're not
I
we're not
don't know.
occupying the same land as anyone. There's infinite land
Yes.
available for art. There's no need
Well,
to say one is now talk of the
yeah,
town, so the other one's not here anymore.
yeah.
Again, that's
A
the
way.
individual perspective. It's nothing of any real meaning.
Yeah, I mean that's the other thing that I said about the white wall gallery outside the gallery system. I didn't really talk about it that much. It's probably not going to be on the video, but the film. But the thing is, I did say that it's very important to open up these urban spaces like cafes and also the internet. You have got an infinite amount of space on the internet to do stuff. I mean, I was going to say that the one thing about the internet is that I mean, it might be poisonous and it might be toxic and it might be very inflammatory and it might be all those things, but it's never sterile. That's the thing. The white wall gallery is quite sterile.
Do you think there's a contradiction in?
and in a way,
Sorry, do you think there's a contradiction in being opposed to the white wall gallery system, and then as soon as Stuckism's offered a show in a white wall gallery, they jump on it?
yeah. Oh, of course it is. It's a little bit.
I mean, the Walker was a
It's a
white
bit.
wall gallery,
But
wasn't
then
it?
we haven't been.
And
Yeah. I
and
mean,
Go
I
West, and there's been loads of white
agree.
wall gallery Stuckist shows.
Yeah. Well, the thing, okay, let's face it, we want to promote painting. We wouldn't object to being in the Tate, but the Tate doesn't take us and they ignore us. And what makes me a little bit annoyed, I have to say, is that they've got all this wonderful new space at the Tate, at the tanks and the extension, and you go in there, and I just think, look, you've got this huge room, and you've just got this one little video of a conceptual art video in it, and I just think that all that space we could have a big. Couldn't you just have one room for a little painting gallery? You could be like a little bit. It could just be like a separate little
There's a
painting
positive
gallery
way
on
to
its
look at
own.
it, though.
Yeah,
The positive way of looking
yeah,
at it is what a massive gap in the market for us to do something.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, I think,
I
yeah,
like the fact that there's nothing going on, and I like the fact that I feel completely alienated by 99% of the art around, because that
yeah,
to me is the inverse is true of the opportunity that gives us.
yes, exactly. Well, nature pulls a vacuum, doesn't it? That's the oldest saying. That's one of they always say that. Yeah,
Black
nature pulls a
Ivory is
vacuum.
the
Yeah.
anti-vacuum of contemporary art.
They will fill it, yeah. But I mean, there's that contradiction because I don't really want to be an online artist, but there's some artists that make a lot of money just being online. And frankly, if you do have a private view, it costs a lot of money. You have to hire a hall, you have to bring in the wine. But I would much rather meet people face to face in an exhibition and look at the actual paintings and all the rest of it.
I
But
have a
in fact,
private view at Camden
if you haven't got,
Market, and I meet
yeah,
people face to
yeah,
face. There's no
exactly,
walls
yeah.
of any colour.
Exactly, but the point I'm trying to say is that really, I mean, the internet is it has offered us all those opportunities, hasn't it?
The internet's
Really, I
great
mean,
if you're lazy and you don't care about quality. you can flood.
Yeah.
You can flood on the internet, and
Yeah.
and
Mm.
you can sort of be satisfied. But I think there's a again. This is for me personally.
Yeah.
There's a limit to what you can do. A very very low ceiling to what you can do on the internet. Well, again, this is it for what I can do rather on the internet. And I think that's probably how most artists of my ilk feel. I mean, the
Yeah.
internet's a nice place to advertise, and it's a nice place to keep an archive that indicates what you are doing, but it isn't what you're doing. It's a record keeping device.
Yes, it is. It
But
is. It
when
isn't
I'm
what you
when
think.
I'm
Yeah.
on in my studio, or when I'm in someone else's studio, or when I'm on the streets of Camden, I feel like
Mm.
this is my environment. This is where I belong.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
I understand why a lot of artists try to make more of the internet than is capable of. But I think the reason they do that is essentially because they're lazy. So I don't have any sympathy
Yeah.
for them. I mean, look at what
Yeah.
Ron does. Ron's up wrestling, going out. He does free art in the street. He
Yeah.
goes out, does his Stuckist show in a theatre. He gets people around his house. He uses everything to hand because he's like a caveman,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he gets a lot more out of it. I think.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, yeah, I mean, do use the internet because, if you, at the end of the day, if you haven't got the space, the money, or the other facilities, that is there, and yeah, but I do agree with having people around, meeting face to face, having private views, even though it is expensive, but
Why don't you just skip the private view, skip the gallery? I mean, this is why I
yeah,
think galleries need to be killed, because I think
yeah,
artists have been so conditioned to think the alternative
mm.
to the internet is a gallery,
Oh yes, I
and
absolutely agree. You
it's
should,
not even around your house. I mean, we've
yeah,
done shows in our
yeah, we
house.
have,
No one
and
comes.
round yours a
We
few times,
remember
yeah,
remember when we advertised the gig, and there's no
yeah.
one turned up.
Oh
So
God,
it was a
yeah,
band
that's it.
practice. Um,
Yeah,
but if you just shove it in their face, people perk
yeah,
up, and
yeah, yeah,
zero of the hundreds of people I've seen walk away with a big smile on their face because they've got a free artwork. None of those people would have come to my house to look at my work. You've
yeah.
got to
I
you've
mean,
got to be aggressive with it. You've got to
yeah.
be a salesman.
I mean, when people come up and say, "Can I have one for my friend?" I mean, I have had that. People have come back to me and said, "That's really lovely. Can I have one for my friend?" And they do smile, and that's nice to see. That cheers me up. My artwork's cheered someone up. That's great. And also during the COVID going online, I have to say though, during COVID, it was a bit of a lifeline. It was nice to have that on that for people to see when they were it cheered them up. Hopefully
Yeah, the
during the
internet
COVID
was
time.
so good for COVID. If
Yeah,
COVID had happened 15 years earlier, it would have been
I know.
devastating.
Yeah, you really do wonder that. I'm going to have to get going now anyway, though. But so it's been a good interview, though. I think we talked about quite a bit, and yeah, and I did my new pictures up on my website, so I got those from catalogues,
Check out
advertising
Emma
homes.
Pugmire on DeviantArt.
Yes, the first one's called Unfinished Oak, and I like that because it was a lovely. That was taken because Richard Hamilton did this. Hers is a Lost Situation came straight from advertising. He's actually taking words from advertising. You see, so it's not just the image; it's the words as well that can be transmuted and made into something else by the work of art. And Unfinished Oak, I just love that. It was just a type of it's a lovely phrase because it's the idea of evolution. The oak is unfinished; it will constantly evolve into something else. So even though it's just on the floorboards and it's a type of finishing for the floorboards, I just liked it being evolving. So that was a nice phrase.
It's one of
And
my
the
favourite paintings. That painting is
But
really, really
yeah, I'm
brilliant.
glad you like that. And also Demeter, which is obviously to do with spring, the goddess of spring and the blossom in the background, and it was to do with that rather sort of the big vase, like loads of breasts, and because the original statue of Demeter was a Greek statue, and the it was a female figure with lots and lots of breasts, the Earth Mother goddess, and that's why I called it Demeter. I kept looking. I remember seeing a picture of it, but I can't find it anywhere in my books. I kept looking for it, but that's why it's called Demeter. But it's spring. So yeah, so that's the other one. Anyway, I'm going to go make a move then.
All right,
Okay
Emma,
then.
thanks.
Okay. Okay, if you come down, turn this off and everything. Okay, I'll vacate the chair now. Okay then. See you then.
See you in
Bye.
about 10 seconds.
Yeah.